Dolphins Nation, take a deep breath because today's news is wild. We've got a veteran proving everybody wrong. A coaching decision that could flip our defense upside down. Explosive rumors shaking the team's future. In a locker room vibe that feels like playoff tension in October, could someone lose their spot? Are they really thinking about breaking up the offense? And why is the fan base so split right now? Buckle up, because what's coming is unbelievable. So sit back, hit that like button, and let's dive right in. And hey, subscribe to the channel so we can hit 1,000 subscribers and show just how strong this Dolphins family really is. Week after week, the Dolphins defense has been testing our patience. But out of all that frustration came one steady hand nobody saw coming: Rasul Douglas. Yeah, that same vet folks said was washed after his quiet stint in Buffalo. He landed in Miami as a backup plan, a last-minute gamble. Now he's one of the few constants in a defense that can't seem to find its footing. He's the kind of guy who doesn't pop off the stat sheet but does all the dirty work quietly. And when the team needs a play, he's there. And the numbers back it up. Douglas has allowed just 62.2% of passes thrown his way, despite playing in a scheme that's been way too generous to opposing offenses. 1 touchdown given up, 3 pass breakups, a 97.2 passer rating allowed. Solid numbers in the middle of chaos. But what's really stood out is how physical he's been, especially against the run. That forced fumble against the Chargers wasn't just a highlight. It was a statement. As long as I'm on this field, nobody's walking through here easy. This is Miami. Nothing comes without a little drama. Because now, Storm Duck is back and ready to shake things up. Remember him? The promising young corner who started the season, went down with an ankle injury in Week 1, and's been sidelined since. Well, he's fully back in practice and gunning for his job again. Only problem is, defensive coordinator Anthony Weaver isn't just handing it over. When asked if Duck would automatically return as a starter, his answer was short and cold. That's gotta be earned. Douglas still owns that spot, at least for now. And that for now hit like a thunderclap. Because, let's be real, the Dolphins are 1-5. The team needs anything that screams rebuild, future, direction. Douglas over 30 isn't a long-term piece. Duck, on the other hand, is young, cheap, and still growing. The coaching staff is in survival mode, fighting to win now. But if we zoom out for a second, is it really worth keeping the young guy on the bench while the season's already slipping away? As always, the fan base is split. Some want to keep Douglas in there for his grit and reliability, a rare spark in a struggling unit. Others are ready for change, seeing Duck as the start of something new amid the chaos. Honestly, both sides have a point. But one thing's certain, Douglas earned respect. Even his biggest critics admit he brought some pride back to a defense that looks soulless. And if you think that's as tense as it gets, hold on. Because what's coming next might just blow your mind. Just when we thought the Dolphins defense couldn't stress us out anymore, this past week flipped everything. And something feels different this time. Maybe it's that Anthony Weaver finally faced reality and did what fans have been begging for since September. Open up the competition. No favorites, no excuses. And word is, some big names are sweating their jobs. The cold truth? Miami's defense has been the Achilles heel of the season. Bottom 5 in points allowed, yards per attempt, third down conversions, fourth down stops, and interceptions. If it's a defensive stat, chances are we're near the bottom. It's painful to admit, but what was supposed to be our backbone has turned into the reason we're losing games. But now, the tone's changing. Weaver made it clear every spot is up for grabs. The spotlight right now is on Jack Jones versus Ethan Bonner. It's impossible not to be curious about this one. Bonner's that guy who always shines in camp but never really gets real game reps. Jones showed up late, didn't even have time to fully learn Weaver's system, but still looked solid when he got his shot. So now the question's out there, who really deserves the role? Bonner only played 16 snaps on defense against the Chargers, but it was enough to reignite the debate. He's not a finished product, but there's something about him, a raw instinct, that hungry energy to prove he belongs. Weaver praised both guys, but it's obvious the battle's alive. And with Storm Duck still shaking off the rust and Kador Coho out for the year, Bonner might be the wild card nobody saw coming. But this goes beyond names. What's really on the line is the defense's identity. Weaver wants to set the tone. Mediocrity's done. No more excuses like new system or injuries. It's time for results. And if that means benching vets, so be it. That's the message he sent to the locker room, and the players felt it. This week's practices felt like a playoff preview. Once again, the fans are split. Some see this as the perfect chance to try something new, while others worry too much change could mess up chemistry even more. But at the end of the day, no one can stomach another game where the defense gets steamrolled drive after drive. Bonner might be inexperienced, sure, but sometimes chaos calls for bold moves. And that might just be the first domino to fall. Because if the defense is changing, what about the offense? Brace yourself. What's coming next could shake the whole roster. Grab your popcorn, because this bombshell hit the locker room hard. The rumors are out. The New York Giants are reportedly all in on trying to pry Jaylen Waddle out of Miami. They're taking advantage of the chaos. Tyreek Hill's injury, locker room tension, and the team's downward spiral. And that's got fans asking the big question. Are the Dolphins really about to blow up this offense? Would you trust the team's future to a move like that? Let's be clear. Waddle is the heartbeat of this offense. 3 straight 1,000-yard seasons before turning 27. This year alone, despite all the drama, he's got 29 catches for 390 yards and 3 touchdowns. With no elite receiver on the other side to take pressure off him, losing Hill hurt, but trading Waddle, that would be waving the white flag on the whole season. The Giants smell blood, and they're moving in for the kill. Their logic makes sense for New York, though. With Malik Neighbors out and Darius Slayton hurt, they're desperate for a reliable weapon to help young QB Jackson Dart develop. For them, Waddle means explosion, yards after catch, leadership, and stability for an offense torn apart by injuries. But from our side, it feels like giving up hope. And here's where it gets tricky. Trading Waddle wouldn't just be a football move, it'd be a political one. GM Chris Grier's seat is already hot. Letting him decide the fate of the team's top playmaker might be handing the keys to someone who won't even be around in February. Reporters and fans alike are questioning whether he should be the one making this kind of call. You really want a guy on thin ice shaping the team's future? As for trade value, word is only a first-rounder would even start the conversation. But with the market as cold as it is, maybe a second and a fourth, or a package with a young starter at a position of need, Miami could even spark a bidding war to squeeze every last drop of value out of it. But let's be real, every time a rumor like this hits the locker room, it shakes everyone. Players feel it, fans feel it, and the whole vibe shifts. It's hard to focus when the core of your offense might be gone tomorrow. If it were up to me, I'd listen to offers. But Waddle only leaves if the deal's absolutely unbeatable. What's coming out of Miami right now is pure tension. Because at this point, it's not just about draft picks, it's about legacy. It's pride in keeping the fire alive when everything feels like it's burning out. And while the spotlight's on Waddle, fans are left wondering, when we wake up tomorrow, will this offense still be whole, or will it be just another piece of a rebuild? Drop your take in the comments, because this story's just getting started. After a day like this, one thing's clear. The Dolphins are walking the line between hope and chaos. Veterans pushing their limits, young guys ready to flip the script, a coaching staff finally listening to the crowd, and an offense hanging by a thread. Every headline today showed that the future's on the line right now in the fight to bounce back, in the choice between keeping stars or starting fresh. So let me ask you, if you were running the Dolphins, what would you do? Let me know in the comments, hit that like button, and subscribe so we can keep this fan base strong and ride through every twist of this rebuild together.